All right, Ulm turn 58. Continuing to summon units. Starting to get some wolves now, because yeah, we just really need patrollers, and I've talked about that. Also getting some more whites. Definitely a possible answer to the Jarls, as we've seen. Not necessarily a great answer. But yeah, we at least this guy's up at the conjuration bonus site, so they're not costing as much as normal. Didn't find magic sites. Caught a few battles. This is just a scout got caught. And then there was a battle in Arcocephali, and this is a little bit interesting. So I've talked about just patrolling with like extra troops, against these elven raiders, and that's exactly what Niflheim has done here. They didn't even bring out any mages. But yeah, I mean, this is a lot of giants now. He's probably got like maybe double. And these PD, I think these are the militia. And so these guys here, yeah, are actually the warriors. So they're going to be a little bit better than like just the PD. And we've seen these raider groups before. This is kind of a standard thing. We see this guy's morale has already failed. He picked up an affliction. And then we'll see how these guys are probably going to do a little better against these militia here. But yeah, I mean, once this other group gets up here, plus some javelins, which is nice to help pop glamour. Yeah, see, like there was a glamour that just went down. Not to mention that all weapons get boosted by strength by varying amounts, but javelins scale decently well. So yeah, I mean, since these are giants throwing these javelins, they hurt a lot more. It's able to punch through like his protection and even his invulnerability. So yeah, the elves are still tough to take out. One of these guys, is the one that's a little more kitted, right? He's got the mist form and the vine shield. It looks like, we'll see about his fatigue. Some of this is from spell casting, so I don't actually know if he's fatigue neutral or if it's possible that he's going to fatigue out because he's super outnumbered right now. It looks like his morale failed. It does not look like he's fatigue neutral. So, even with this reinvigoration, just because of his gear, his encumbrance is high enough, 6 versus the 3 reinvigoration, that he is building up fatigue. But then of course, losing like the rest of the army probably triggered an HP rout. Although, I mean, raiders, when they're by themselves, they have to take more morale checks than a lot of like normal units. Their morale needs to be higher for them to be safe. So it's possible that his morale just failed. 17 is okay. It would be really good for regular troops, but for a thug or a super combatant, not that high. Yeah, you can see I think this is the PD, that routed here, right? So now, I mean, he'd already routed, but, just kind of demonstrates that, like, without this extra commitment from Niflheim, which, of course, we've seen before, then, this would have been another victory in all likelihood. But instead, this is Holy Avenger. Which is a decent spell. I think H2 priests can cast it on themselves, and then just after they die, I think it's for every hit that they take. It's a smite. I think it's a smite, like the same spell as smite. Not 100% on that, but anyway, a holy damage spell comes down for each time they get hit. After the battle. Well, usually after the battle, after they die. So that's what that was. It can be pretty effective. But yeah, so you can see, Niflheim won here and, completely wiped out that raiding group. And, like, this is exactly what he's got to be doing, and his losses, like, it's like, 6 warriors, and a horse tribe chief. Like, these guys aren't cheap because they're giants, so, like, losing 6 of them is not nothing. But, compared to the sacreds, who are more expensive, and then, like, Van Jarl, who had, equipment on him. I would definitely say this is a win. Plus, he gets to keep the province. That's looking good. And then looks like he attacked out here, and I think this is his fortress that got besieged. And it looks like he just left a bird behind. Poor Dream Soarer. Actually, he might be set to retreat. Let's see if he survives. Kind of curious. No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, wait. Let's see. So okay, Dream Soarer lives on. So yeah, a lot of times people do that. I think that was probably like hold, and then like retreat. Because like sometimes people will poke out and do the same thing where it's like they just, poke a commander out, and if there's like nothing, there's, just like one unit there, then that unit will just retreat off. But then, ideally you want your commander to live. So it's a bit of a game where it's like, how much do you commit? I mean, losing one Great Hawk is, not the end of the world, but if you don't have to, like, why not? This is a commander, he can fly. His leadership isn't great, but like, you can slap other like flying troops on him, and then fly him around. Like, and Helheim has Valkyries, which are flying. So yeah, this guy could lead like, Valkyrie raiding groups around. So it's nice to hang on to him. And he might have died in the retreat, but he didn't die here. But anyway, yeah, Niflheim unlocked his fort. Of course, that means that the Elven army went somewhere else. And then, yeah, we lost another province here to this Jarl that we're just trying to drive out. And then, we're just following the Jarl. He didn't leave any PD behind. He's probably hurting on money at this point because, he's lost a lot of lands to those Elven raiders. So, yeah, and then we had some events, a lot of heroes this turn. So, yeah, we got this event. Some heroes join up, and then you always get attacked. And so the heroes like join your province defense, and like anybody who's there, against like some random like foul spawn and stuff. Usually there's like some blood summons. We don't really have a ton of PD here. But yeah, some of these heroes are cool. Some of them, are kind of meh. So let's see. This guy is an assassin, which is kind of nice. He's just a human. His gear isn't very good. So ideally he'd need some gear, to really be at all effective. And only being a human, yeah, there's, you can assassinate some stuff. But like for instance, elves are pretty hard to assassinate. But he can scale walls, which is nice. Most assassins cannot assassinate enemy commanders that are inside of forts, so they can only assassinate people that are, out and about. But some assassins get this scale walls, and so they can assassinate people even that are hiding in forts. So that is really nice. And so I think there's him, and then we've seen, I don't know, there's a nature mage who enlarged him. Yeah, we've seen this kind of adventure before. This is probably the most common type of adventure that you see. And he's got inspirational. His leadership actually isn't very good though. Like he can't even do formations. And his stat line is okay. It's cool. We'll give him a sword. Great sword of sharpness. And then I think there's another assassin in there. And then, there's this guy who, like, whatever, I guess. He's got some decent armor and a crossbow. Like, I don't know. Yeah, he's just like a human guy. Again, leadership not that good. But this hero is actually like a really, if you can get a hold of her, N2 can be a big deal, if your nation doesn't have easy nature access. Obviously not such a big deal for EA Ulm. But she has a healer ability, which is really rare. Some nations do get recruitable healers, but not too many. And it's just not a very common ability. So yeah, she can actually, every turn she gets to, it's based on the number. So she's just a healer 1. So every turn she can heal 1 affliction, including possibly disease. And after Burden of Time, like we definitely have some people that would benefit from this. So yeah, really hoping that these guys win. It would be nice if we had more than just minimal PD. Like, we just have the absolute minimum. It's mostly just the heroes here. But the good news is, Warrior Chiefs only got webbed. Still though, yeah, Warrior Chiefs are solid. So we'll see. They might come away with it. Yeah, these Dark Vines, they're okay. They're really slow. But they have, a decent amount of attacks, like some resistances. They have a crap ton of hit points, but, their skills are not very good. So, yeah, they tend to kind of just die. But they are big, hit point bags. But yeah, Warrior Chief's still going strong. So yeah, it looks like they come away with it, which is good. That means we get those heroes. Which, yeah, and so four heroes joined. One of them died. I think it was just like an assassin guy, which, whatever. We got the healer. That's the important part. So that's really good news. And then there's less good news. Yeah, so a different group of heroes decided to rid a province, one of our provinces, of its quote-unquote unfair rulership, which I take issue with, but anyway. And so, yeah, we get attacked again, but in this case, the heroes are not on our side. And this is, let's see, where is this guy? Kind of notorious, Bogus, the Troll Raider. So yeah, I mean, you won't necessarily see him every game, but like probably somebody sees him every game. It's not uncommon, like, even if he doesn't attack you, you'll be, maybe scouting around and, you'll see like a province that's been taken by independents and it's like, what's going on here? And like you click on it and it's like, oh, it's like there's a Troll Raider, and a couple other things. And it's like, oh yeah, somebody got hit with Bogus. Well, we got hit with Bogus this game. They're not like the end of the world to deal with, but they are kind of nasty. So there's a couple of them are trolls. I mean, most of them have like decent stats. This guy's got like a true shot longbow. So like long range, really, really good precision, and it's going to deal a lot of damage being wielded by a troll. And he gets to shoot quickly because he has boots of quickness. Bogus like regenerates. He has good protection from his armor, and then he, life drains from this wraith sword. This is like a unique ring, which is a pretty good like strength 4 and attack skill 4. Is nice. And then there's a couple of casters. Yes, this is like an air 3. No gems, so that's not too bad. But yeah, I mean, air 3 can be kind of nasty. You can thunder strike. And then, yeah, I'm not sure what this guy usually does. I haven't been hit with Bogus too many times. And then, of course, this guy, he always leaps in the back, and he's kind of tough. He's lucky. He has really high defense, and then, like, a lot, because he's riding a griffin, so he gets a lot of attacks, and one of them's magic. So anyway, yeah, our PD is, not going to be able to handle, okay, yeah, Mind Burn coming from that other mage, and, yeah, some phantasmal wolves. Anyway, yeah, so, and that's really rough because this was one of our fort provinces, not just any fort province. It is the fort province where we could have recruited enchantresses and finally managed to build a laboratory. And pretty much the turn we build the laboratory, Bogus shows up and locks it down, which is not cool. So anyway, some adventures on our side, some against. I think that more or less covers events. Still kind of just watching, what is going on. Like, it's nice to see, Niflheim kind of fighting back, and not just completely rolling over. That makes me feel a little better. He still has a really big force here on his capital. And so, yeah, again, trying to, just shadowing this Jarl, so we're going to retake this, and then we might come back down here. I don't really want to, like, move a big army here, right? Because, I mean, this is right next to his capital, so if I move a big old army here, like, there's no way this is ever going to move out with, like, one of my armies hanging out here. So we may actually just leave this in his possession for a little while to, maybe kind of... I haven't actually contacted him at this point yet in chat, but, kind of just... through actions, like demonstrating that, like, hey, if you go deal with Helheim, like, I'm happy to kind of just let this war cool off for a little while. Maybe not permanently, we'll see. But yeah, so still watching this, just trying to hold on to what we have from what we've gotten, and then, hopefully convince Niflheim through our inactivity that it's safe to go after Helheim. And then, we are going to get rid of, we do not appreciate this business with Bogus. So we're going to test our new army out on it. Because, I mean, these guys aren't as tough as the Jarls, like, not even close. But, I mean, they are kind of, like, super combatants, like thugs. It's like a small number of, kind of decently kitted, tougher chassis. So we are bringing up... let's see here, our gargoyles, and a couple of earth casters. So we're going to bring our god, because our god's a really good earth caster. And then, yeah, here we've got an earth 3, and then, yeah, just a couple other guys that will be able to, they can boost themselves with summon earth power. And yeah, we're going to drop weapons of sharpness on these gargoyles, and send them in and see, like, I mean, if they can handle bogus. If they can't handle bogus, then we need a new strategy, because, again, the Jarls are going to be tougher. But if they can handle bogus and his pals, then, that's a good sign, at least. It's not a guarantee. So, yeah, I think, still just kind of scouting around. I was, I think, trying to see if maybe Baratos was fighting Vanheim, but it doesn't really look like it. So I think I'm headed back down because I've kind of lost sight. It looked like Xibalba was kind of on the ropes. And I definitely want to know, when that war ends. And, like, usually the war ends when the capital goes down. So, moving a scout in to see, like, hey, is it under siege? What's the situation? And then, yeah, just continuing to... Helheim is big. Helheim is pretty big. So, yeah, just, moving some scouts around, like, trying to figure out, like, how big. But so far the answer is really big. So, yeah, that's kind of concerning. So, yeah, and I think that covers most of the scouting, like, still trying to see what's going on with our war, between our neighbors here. So, I have a couple of scouts moving around. I think some of this used to be Macone's, so possibly Baratos is involved in this war as well. It looks like Macone might actually be jumping in on this war with Lanka. So, yeah, definitely want to keep an eye on that. Like, we have a nap with Macone currently, but, we share a really big border. And, at some point we're probably going to have to tangle with them. So, especially, this isn't a capital, at least. Actually, don't know. Not sure where here's Lanka's capital. So, I mean, this is close, So, yeah, I mean, if he was to pick up another capital, that wouldn't be ideal. Although I do think Macone is only on one capital at the moment, which is definitely, like, kind of a shorthand in terms of, measure of strength. So, yeah, maybe a good target for us, especially since, he's involved in some wars. But yeah, we're still kind of busy over here. So, yeah, that's turn 58. All right, Ulm, turn 59. We finished research in Conjuration 6. So, yeah, should be getting Spectres probably this turn. And then, yeah, moving on to Alteration, which we've talked about. Continuing to summon units. Getting some more wolves. So that's really the only, addition. So, keeping that up from last turn. Another Dire Portent. So, yeah, this is not great. So Helheim grabbed another global, and then this is also one that potentially we could have cast, and is maybe one of the better ones. This is one of the better ones for Ulm. Probably not one of the stronger globals in general, but yeah, so it's the Forge of the Ancients, I think, and it allows you to forge items for cheaper. I think it's 20%. So yeah, just all your items are cheaper that you forge, and then your guys also get like basically Master Smith 1, I think, which boosts the paths that they can forge at. So if you needed Fire 2 and you only have a Fire 1, like, you could still use that guy to forge that Fire 2 item. So yeah, I mean, it's really good if you're going to be doing a lot of forging, and obviously it sort of just doubles down on one of Ulm's strengths, which is why, it's maybe a better one for Ulm. You need High Earth, which is we have. I mean, Helheim, they have a lot of thug options. They're pretty good. Most elf nations are good thug nations because, they just have good chassis, like, as we've seen. So being able to make gear for them more cheaply, is definitely, that's pretty nice. So, yeah, I mean, I could see why you would want it. But, yeah, now he has 2 globals. So, yeah, that's a little concerning. Let's see, we had some battles. Yeah, this is just us tailing that Nifl Jarl, just taking some stuff back. And then I think this was just cleaning out the Earth Elementals. So yeah, and then, brought 2 mages, which, yeah. Oh, you know what? Yeah, so this is Weapons of Sharpness here. So you can see that in action. He's got the gem because, yeah, he's only, even with the summon earth power, he's only going to be earth 4, and you need 5 for Weapons of Sharpness. He has the boots on too. This guy's probably only Earth 2 normally. So he's getting a boost from the boots, he's getting a boost from the spell, summoning Earth Power, and then he has to boost himself one more time to hit 5 to actually cast the spell, which thankfully doesn't cost any gems normally. So, if you're Earth 5 just naturally, then, you can just cast it. But yeah, we have to do a little bit of work. And then, of course, he does Legions of Steel instead. Maybe a misscript, or he should have time to get another one off. Maybe I didn't cast it on him. Nope. He may be holding on to it. I'm not sure why he didn't cast it. I mean, it definitely looks like he's set up to cast Weapons of Sharpness, but yeah, either he chose not to, or I felt he should save it for some reason. Weird. Maybe take a look at that. Anyway, our maidens, got the rest of the buffs, and they were able to take out those earth elementals, no problem. Let's take a look at that. And I did not realize that didn't go off. So yeah, and then more rating from Helheim. I think this one is kind of an interesting one. Yeah, so this is this province that had like the lone, giant in it that managed to, actually kill an elf. But this time he sent in a Sea King, and this is what you get from like the Sea King's court, in addition to some like just regular unit trolls. But you get this troll commander, who's a water 3 mage. But I mean, yeah, he has 63 hit points. His strength is really good. His stats are okay. I mean, they're being boosted definitely by like he's fully geared here, so he's definitely invested a lot in this troll, which makes sense because I mean it's a 55, I think. Water gem spell. So yeah, I mean this guy's expensive anyway. So yeah, I mean he's got a lot of investment here. But I think he just naturally gets regeneration. I mean gets even more underwater. But then he gave him a ring as well. So like yeah, he's got 25% regeneration. And 63 hit points. That's pretty good. His prod is, not amazing, but it's solid. Yeah, this is going to give cold resistance. So, yep, he fixed that problem. So, he shouldn't fatigue out like against this giant. And then, yeah, we've seen most of this other gear. This is a fire brand, pretty similar to the frost brand. Same kind of like AoE, only, obviously like fire. You don't see this one as much because it's twice as expensive, right? So this is a 10 gem item. So that's, if resistances don't really matter, I do think that this does a little more damage, and you get some bonus morale, which I'm not sure if you get from the Frost brand. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll take a look. So yeah, I mean, this is technically a little bit better, but I mean, not twice as expensive better. But in this case, obviously, the Frost Giant isn't going to care about that frost damage, but, Firebrand is going to work just fine. And again, Brand is a good choice for any thug whose, attack skill maybe isn't the best. And then, yeah, he has this lifelong protection, so this is a really good item. It'll just summon 2 imps, like just at the start of the battle. I mean, it is tainted, so yeah, this is like one of those items that is going to, eventually get this commander horror marked. But it'll take a little while. So like, yeah, I mean, it's probably fine. And this guy's pretty tough. So, I mean, he could honestly probably take down at least like some of the first horrors. Cause like the horror marks can get like stronger. Like they start out relatively weak. And you can't really tell how strong it is. Like there's no, you just get an indicator like, yes, this person is horror marked, and you don't really know what its strength is. But yeah, I mean, I think because this is tainted, it'll like that mark will continue to get stronger over time. Or like, if you go into combat, you already have a horror mark, and then somebody casts like, I think there's just a spell like horror mark. So, if you get hit with a bunch of those, then like, yeah, your horror mark's going to get a heck of a lot stronger. And then, more nasty horrors will start to attack you with a stronger mark. But anyway, he can probably take down like, some of the easier horrors. So it'll be a while, before like any of that matters. So, getting the imps is really nice. I mean, we've seen, so they're flyers. We've talked about them before. Yeah, and there they go. You never know, like against some stuff, maybe they'll just snipe the commander, and they'll mess with buff cycles. I mean, yeah, we're well familiar with, how useful flyers can be. Oh, whoa. Did you just get more imps? Dang. I thought it was just the 2. Auto spell summons 2 imps. So this may just continue to summon 2 imps with every round, which is, yeah, So I didn't realize that. Like I said, I don't do blood too much. Wow. I've heard people talk about these lifelong protections, just being really powerful. I was kind of looking at it. It's like, 2 imps. I mean, that's nice, but yeah, it's 2 imps. It looks like every round, which maybe explains why it's costs 40 blood slaves to make. Not a super cheap item, but blood slaves are a little easier to come by than gems. So like generally speaking, blood stuff is more aggressively costed. Like as you look at it, it's like, oh, like 40 gems, like forget it. But it's not quite, it's not 1-to-1. So anyway, yeah, there's gonna be a ton of imps really quickly, and yeah, you set them on fire. Yeah, you can see that firebrand just like doing work. I don't even think these guys, like, they're probably like busy with the imps. They're not. No, they're still shooting at the troll king, but not for long probably, because the battlefield's just starting to fill up with imps. So anyway, yeah, this guy is, now he's killed the giant, like forget it. The rest of these guys, like, no way. So yeah, that's kind of a nasty raider. I don't have to, I hope I don't have to fight him. We'll see. But anyway, so yeah, that lone giant who's been hanging out there for who knows how long is finally bitten the dust. And then Niflheim, I think either raiding back or, this looks like raiding back. Yeah, with a Jarl. So yeah, we know about the Jarls. Although this is actually a change. So this is also a blood item, a lot cheaper. Yeah, and then if they get wounded, they're going to go berserk. And this is probably in response, to the plays that we've been making with Foul Vapors. But because if he goes berserk, then he's not going to rout off, right? So that big win that we got through the retreat paths being cut and blah blah blah, like, yeah, if he, not anymore. So anyway, he's changing his strategy. This is why you can't just keep relying on the same strategy. That's why we're trying to get the gargoyles up and running, with the weapons of sharpness. And I think it'll work, because his protection isn't that great, right? Because it's like, he's now reacting to like other threats. So he probably thinks like, he's just got a bunch of like vine ogres and stuff. Like, I don't really need, as long as I got my soul vortex, and the gargoyles won't get hit with the soul vortex. So now all of a sudden there's like 40 gargoyles jump on him with weapons of sharpness, and hopefully they can just take him down real quick. So anyway, just always back and forth, right? It's like people are always trying to counter stuff. Yeah, and you can see, I think this is just Vanheim's PD. He gets a Vanhurst as a commander, which is, yeah, oof. That's, I wish. Warrior Chiefs are good, so I can't really complain. We've definitely seen them come in clutch, but they're not a Vanhurst. Yeah, this guy's a mage, right? Like, he just blessed. He's a priest, so he blessed himself. So like, if you take some disgusting thug bless, which you probably will if you're Helheim, then your PD commander just gets it. So yeah, basically when we raid, so like for instance, our archers, like, at least they'll pop the glamour well. But sending some of our raiding squads into this, might be a little problematic. It looks like, of course, they're just going to summon units at each other. Why bother fighting? Which is not a bad plan. So like, it's just a little safer, I think. Although, yeah, fatigue wise, it's always a little scary when your guy, goes to sleep based off spell casting. So this, no, yeah, okay, it looks like he just summoned some skeletons and now he's going into attack, which is a really good idea, right? Because this just, helps give him some cover, right? So that not all the attention is focused on his Jarl. Some of it is going to be focused, on these undead. So especially if there was like a PD dump here, I think that would really, really help. It did get him up in fatigue quite a bit. But yeah, he has decent reinvigoration. He didn't put up Soul Vortex. Not sure why not. Won't really matter here too much, because there's not too much to drain. But yeah, he's up against more PD, definitely would be useful. And then yeah, the computer, because it's just PD, so you can't script the PD. They just like to make units, so phantasmal warriors. But yeah, and there's that the charge body from that armor. We've seen that before, and yeah. So yeah, Jarls, they're pretty scary, but yeah, man, Helheim's PD could be a problem if we have to go up against that. So yeah, and then I think this is a relatively large battle between Lanka and Macone. So let's take a look at this. Okay, maybe not a large battle, but you know, anytime you're deploying Gigantes, that's not nothing. So yeah, it looks like it's Lanka that's attacking. You know, got some monkey PD here. And then yeah, you know, pretty standard. I don't really see any mage support. I think this guy, yeah, is just a commander. Got some fire resistance. So yeah, and then you know, just some of Makone's units, a few Gigantes. And then what do we have over here for Lanka? Just a blood one. Blood is not the I mean, it's definitely got some useful battlefield spells, but a lot of its power comes from the rituals on the strategic map. So especially like Blood 1, and I mean, yeah, there's no Blood Slaves even. So I'm not even sure. May just be here for, yeah, it has like some undead leadership, and these guys are probably, I think you need undead leadership for demons. So yeah, that mage just may be here to lead these sacreds. And then is he a priest? Yeah, he's a priest, so you can bless him as well. So that's probably what he's for. Oh, yeah, and then this guy is a thug, or maybe a super combatant. I don't know. I mean, he's not solo, but yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of gear. This Iron Face especially, like 25 Earth Gems. I don't think we've seen this before. So this is definitely an investment, you know, and it just gives him Iron Skin, which of course, you know, we cast all the time as a self buff, but this guy probably doesn't have Earth. Yeah. So yeah, it boosts his protection a lot. His armor is not great. I'm not sure why you would choose this. I mean, it does give him some cold resistance, but I mean, you know, Makone doesn't really have a lot of water magic. You know, he's not up against the Neefles. Like, yeah, a little bit of attack and defense is like never bad. I mean, it's cheap, I guess. But yeah, it just seems a little interesting, you know, throwing this on. That's a ton of investment, and then, you know, just give him like, you know. Yeah, and then this, so this just helps for blood hunting. Just makes it easier to find blood slaves. So it's not going to help in combat at all. Yeah, and I mean, this is Lanka attacking. So yeah, maybe just, you know, forgot to take it off. You know, these just allow him to swim, which is cool, I guess. But I mean, you know, he's using them in conjunction with this army. I guess a lot of these guys are undead. I don't know if demons... Undead can cross rivers, I believe, because the undead can even go underwater, most of them. Yeah, poor amphibian. So they get a stat penalty when they go underwater, but at least they can. And then because they can go underwater, they can also just cross rivers, right? Like whether the river's frozen or not, like, you know, whatever, don't need a bridge, right? They're undead, you know, just go watch Pirates of the Caribbean if you want to see how that works. So, I mean, I guess, you know, this guy is a demon, and I don't think demons, yeah, maybe they can't, you know, cross rivers as effectively, so this lets him cross rivers with it, but then, you know, he's got a couple, like, monkeys here. Anyway, yeah, I don't know, I'm a little confused by those boots. Also, like, you don't see this a whole lot. I mean, you know, they're cheap, that's good, but all it does is give swimming, which I guess, I don't know, I've never found a use for them. I do like mobility items. I think mobility items in general are maybe a little underrated because, you know, moving around the strategic map matters a lot. But yeah, that's pretty narrow. This is cool. Just enlarges him. So he was probably size 3, and now he's up to size 4, so he gets some extra hit points and stuff. A few other things, like I think his defense goes down a little bit, but mostly good stuff. So yeah, not necessarily a bad choice. And then yeah, just like a regular shield, like that's fine. And then a Bane Blade, which yeah is similar to like what our whites are using. You know, it gives that decay damage. I mean, not bad. So yeah, anyway, I mean, he's got a lot of gear. And his defense skill's really good. You know, he's got some experience and stuff. Yeah, it could be tough to take down, but the Gigantes might be able to handle him. So we'll see. I think we've seen these before. Not a lot of protection, but the skills are really good. 2 attacks. We'll see about the Bless. I think they're undisciplined. No, they're not. So yeah, kind of interesting. Would have expected maybe to have them hold an attack rather than just heading right in, because sometimes it can be a little difficult to get all of them blessed up but it looks like he got them. So yeah. But yeah, these arrows, yeah, you can see, right? It's just with that low protection, like arrows are actually kind of scary, and like, yeah, javelin's not good. That's the blood bond. That's why like it's so kind of weird, you know. It's like all the ones and stuff popping up because the guys that actually catch arrows, the damage gets spread around. But like, whew, a lot of afflictions. At least he does have regeneration on the bless, so that's cool. But I mean, it's only 10%, and you know, only 18. I mean, I guess it's already down a little bit in 22. But I mean, regen with the blood bond. I think we talked about that a little bit, and I think this is the first nation we've actually seen it on here. And that's definitely a thing, right? It's like spread the damage out, have them all regenerate it back up. Not a bad plan. Would have been nice to get, you know, some kind of protection buff on these guys, because like, yeah. And then I don't know about this guy. Also a sacred, just a different kind of same thing though. No protection. You know, nobody really to spread the damage out. I'm not sure how far blood bond. I think that's what this number is. Oh no, there's no number. I thought I've seen some with a number. Anyway, I'm not sure what the range is. It's not super far, I don't think. So they do have to be, you know, somewhat tightly. Yeah, you can see. Well, no, he's getting some ones pop up. So maybe they are in range. Yeah, and the regeneration, man, they are taking the Gigantes out. So I may have spoke too soon. Although, yeah, it's really starting to tell all the missile fire and everything. But yeah, I mean, you see, like, they just, with the 2 attacks, and I mean, these are high damage attacks, and really good attack skill. So yeah, they dish out the damage, but then, of course, conversely, they take a lot of damage. But yeah, you know, now, yeah, they're going down. Not sure what this guy's doing. Let's take a look. I think this guy, yeah, this guy routed. That's not good. As if this guy gets wounded, he should go berserk, and he won't rout, which is probably going to be a good thing, you know, assuming he can take whatever is left. He gave himself mist form, so yeah, we've seen that. But like, wow, yeah, I don't know what else he casted, but it was a lot because he's asleep now. His encumbrance is like, you know, not terrible, but not nothing, and it doesn't look like he has any reinvigoration at all. Yeah, does he have it on the bless? No. Yeah, I mean, you know, regeneration is not cheap. Blood bond is not cheap. So, like, I mean, he's already spent, like, a lot of points getting these on it. So, you know, getting some reinvigoration on the bless is tough as well. You know, definitely would have maybe preferred to see, especially, like, you know, replace this with, you know, one of those girdles that we always see that gives a little reinvigoration, something. So, yeah, and then, yeah, he's casting Animate Dead, it looks like. So, I mean, yeah, that... probably a misplay, you know, just like misscripted. Shit happens, you know, but yeah, that really hurts because it's like, this is a lot of gear you'd expect to see him go in, and now he's just put himself to sleep, bringing like 1 skeleton at a time in, which, like, I mean, you know, these Macone, like, the human hoplites aren't great, but they can handle 1 skeleton. Yeah, and then he routes off the field. So, yeah, pretty poor showing, at least from that unit. Although, yeah, Lanka's Sacreds, I do think that Bless, you know, is pretty strong. You know, yeah, that looks like a reasonable choice to me, anyway, for Lanka Bless. I have no experience playing them, so there's probably other better Blesses out there, but, you know, not the worst idea. You cheat up those Gigantes pretty well. You know, I mean, so Macone won, but yeah, I mean, it always hurts to lose these guys. You know, he lost all of them. Like, this isn't really much of a force that's left. You know, I mean, of course, he lost, like, pretty much everything, you know, except for his commanders, which, you know, especially, like, this guy with, yeah, I mean, he's pretty high gold investment, and then a ton of gems and gears. So the fact, hopefully he didn't die in the retreat. But, you know, the fact that he got away is good. But the fact that he did, like, nothing, you know, right? No kills, like, yeah, that's not, I mean, I guess he did summon, like, 1 or 2 skeletons, but, like, whatever. You know, and I don't know how expensive these summons are, but, you know, it always sucks to lose summons. So, yeah, that's not looking good from Lanka. Yeah, and we got some gold. That's cool. Yeah, and then people don't want to work, so that's unfortunate. And then we lost some gold. I think we lost almost exactly a little more. So, but hey, you know, we only lost a little bit of gold this turn from our misfortune. Yeah, and then we lost a scout. That sucks. Yeah, still, Maverni doing a really good job of, you know, yeah, getting rid of scouts. And then, of course, yeah, Bogus is still just hanging out on our fort. But yeah, we are headed in now. Let's take a quick look. So yeah, pretty much what we discussed. You know, just have a line of these terracotta warriors in front to, like, you know, just kind of tie things up. You know, there's like some of those phantasmal wolves and, you know, things like that. And then like mixed in, you know, we just have a couple of these adventurers with great swords because like we don't really care about these adventurers. And with the great swords, like, you know, they can definitely deal enough damage, you know, to get kills on some of these guys. And yeah, here's another one of those adventurers. I'm not sure. This guy's got a fire booster on him, so we gave him a few bodyguards. Because yeah, I don't want to lose this booster. Yeah, you know, 10 gems, not the end of the world. Don't want to use it against Niflheim because, yeah, it makes him susceptible to cold. But we're not going up against him. So, yeah, Fire 3, let's see. What are we doing with this guy? Okay, yeah, Incinerate. That's a pretty good anti-elite spell. A lot of fire damage, you know, which is armor piercing. So, yeah, I mean, it's just one person. So, yeah, it's not going to help you too much, like in a big army fight. But, you know, against, like, these Troll Raiders or against maybe, like, you know, Niflheim, you know, they're Jarls. Although, you know, he did have some fire resistance on the Bless. And this is a spell, specifically, I've seen this spell where it's like, you know, 10 resistance and the mages don't really like to cast it. But, yeah, I mean, some of them might have 5. But anyway, should be pretty good here. I don't think most of those... you know, I don't think most of Bogus's party have any fire resistance. In fact, since some of them are trolls, probably extra damage from that. So yeah, and I got some more Incinerate here from our other guy. A little bit of Strength of Giants, probably, yeah, on the gargoyles, right? So we have this gargoyle like kill squad back here, and then yeah, we're also just bringing up, you know, some axe warriors to help round out, you know, the numbers, you know, if anything else, because like, yeah, I mean, these Terracotta warriors aren't going to do too much, but the axe warriors should be able to get some kills, you know, on some of the you know, troll guys that run forward. And then yeah, here's some weapons of sharpness, some more weapons of sharpness. So anyway, this is kind of the new plan. We'll see how it works against these troll raiders, and then yeah, hopefully it'll work against Niflheim as well. Let's see, in terms of research, yeah, actually getting up to like, you know, it's a lot better. It's a heck of a lot better. So yeah, really starting to see the advantage, you know, of cranking out those lightless lanterns, you know, which we're just continuing, you know, to crank out. Honestly, it's kind of getting to the point where kind of running out of mages, you know, that I want to put them on. Like this guy, maybe a candidate, you know, just like the 2-path, like and useful for forging, but you know, not particularly special. But you know, like wouldn't want to put it on like say, you know, her, because it's like, yeah, you don't want him to get horror marked. So yeah, definitely don't want to put him on really valuable mages. Starting to summon Spectre, and then yeah, right here, this is from the healer. So if you have a healer, you know, and they're actually doing something, then you get this message. So yeah, so she's in here with our unhappy like old men that got hit with Burden of Time that are, you can see, like super afflicted up. Like hopefully she'll get to this guy. You know, he's, yeah, pretty messed up. Yeah, he's been mute, so like, yeah, he's actually probably a better caster than this normally, but yeah, he's got a disease, so you know, he's dying, and you can't control like which affliction she's gonna cure. And so it's especially important, and I mean, I'm not even doing it. What is hang on. You can always hit shift ? To bring up the shortcuts. Yeah, let's see. So W for wounded. So yeah, you can just, so nobody's wounded here. That's good. And then these guys are inanimates. I don't know if they heal. Yeah, they have afflictions. Ooh. Interesting. I don't know if they'll heal inanimates. I mean, I guess, right? They just heal afflictions. I don't know. I hadn't actually thought about that. And then yeah, I think nope, these guys are fresh. What about these guys? No afflictions there. That's good. No afflictions there. Do we have any afflictions up here? No. Okay. Anyway, you don't want a bunch of like troops with afflictions, right? Because it's like if she chooses to heal, you know, like one of these Claymen, it's like, oh great, like this Clayman, you know, lost his limp, right? He went from combat speed 3 to combat speed 6. What a, you know, good use of a turn. So it's better usually to not have any troops, you know, in the location where you're trying to do the healing. And, you know, I'm kind of being a little lazy about it because, you know, this is kind of, you know, I'm doing a lot here. But I mean, this is where I want a lot of my mages anyway, you know, to do like their summoning. But yeah, I mean, if I really, really wanted this guy to survive, you know, I could just take him and the healer, right, and like move them out together. you know, just to like some empty province or something, or, you know, ideally a fort that's like more empty. A little dangerous to just, you know, send them out. You never know when there's, you know, going to be like earth elementals or freaking bogus. So yeah, you know, you gotta be a little careful about that. But if you really need like somebody specific healed, you know, just move them to a location with just the healer, and then that'll ensure that the afflictions that the healer is healing is actually on the unit that you want. Otherwise, you know, it's just luck of the draw. So I'm just letting it be luck of the draw. I thought that I didn't have too many, and I don't have too many afflictions, just a couple of these claymen who will hopefully move out soon. And yeah, hopefully they preferentially target the commander's afflictions, but I mean, who knows? It's Dominions. All bets are off. So yeah, let's see. Actually, just researching here, we just found like this, or somebody found an abandoned lab. So there's actually just like a random laboratory out here. So this was not built. This was like through an event. So yeah, we're doing a little bit of site searching, you know, while we're here, and then, you know, just taking advantage of it, researching while we're out in the field, doing a little patrolling to bring the unrest down. Like I said, don't really want to immediately jump on this province to like maybe signal, you know, to Niflheim that like, hey, you know, like, yeah, I see that, you know, this is scary and like, let's take a pause. So, but I mean, also don't want to withdraw them, you know, because yeah, who knows, right? You know, he may attack. So anyway, having that army hang out, but at least they're not doing nothing, because we have this laboratory here. Still have these horsemen with the swords. Yeah, really got to get some chiefs or something. Anything but those guys would be good. Our patrollers finally starting to work on this unrest. Yeah, this province got hit pretty hard. Yeah, so there's like a false prophet here, who I don't think we ever got rid of. Probably not. And then, yeah, there's a monster boar here as well. So, like, yeah, just a ton of unrest. But this is actually probably good news, because this probably isn't from a site. I think I actually ended up moving these patrollers off before they find everything, because I was thinking, like, oh, this is probably from a site. But yeah, I should have double checked. Because this is not like it's not a great province, but it's not a terrible province. I mean, I'm sure it would make more than 15 income, you know, if it wasn't just getting hammered by unrest. So yeah, deal with that at some point. But we are getting some wolves. So yeah, finally starting to build up some patrollers. Not actually patrolling with them yet. You know, need to find a commander. Probably a little, you know, trying to get chiefs with swords, you know, and leading raiding groups. So yeah, just don't have one available yet, you know, to actually command these wolves and patrol with them. And you kind of want like a critical mass. Yeah, 24 is like not a ton. I think the rule of thumb is, so like, yeah, if you have, I think 40 patrollers, so this guy's like stealthy 40, and you can, you know, you have different stealthy values. Like, I mean, you know, you can get like 60 is, you know, you see that a decent amount, and then I think you can even get up to like 80. I'm not sure what the upper cap is, but you can get pretty stealthy. 40 is like kind of just the standard. I think like, let's take a look real quick before I have to eat my words. Yeah, so I think, you know, most scouts are 40. So 40 is kind of the standard. And then the deal is in terms of patrol strength, I think it's precision, weirdly. That's where they display patrol strength. But yeah, they say like, you know, flying units are good. Like you want high map move. And then yeah, I guess precision does count for like overall patrol strength. But you want, with a patrol strength of 40, you would have, I think, like a 50-50 chance of finding a stealthy unit that has, you know, 40 stealth. So like kind of a good, it's like, you know, so it's like I usually like to have like, you know, around 40 patrol strength, which is like around, with the wolves, you know, they're not one, you know, patrol strength. So you need, you know, more than 40 wolves to get that 40 patrol strength. But yeah, so I usually try to aim at like, you know, 40 patrol strength roughly for my patrollers. And, you know, I mean, obviously, like for more important, like if you really don't want people to know what's going on some fort, you're going to need more, right? And it's not a guarantee, right? It's just a 50-50 shot. And then obviously, like the more patrollers you have, you know, that goes up and up and up. And I don't really know like what the cap is, like if you can get it to a point, you know, where it's like you're 100% guaranteed. Probably not, knowing Dominions. But anyway, you can make it very likely. But I mean, yeah, we don't even have any patrollers yet. So, patrol strength 40 would be great at this point. But anyway, so yeah, that's some details on patrolling and patrol strength. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. Double check research. Yep, all the same. So yeah, that was turn 59.